National political correspondent Steve Kornacki is back at the big board to help us make sense of it all. Take it away and reduce our anxiety, Steve.
Well, Joy, I can show you. We'll look at it this two different ways, I guess, here. Here's the national polling average right now. We've gotten a bunch of different national polls out, this week, the last 24 hours, certainly. And the average right now is about a 7-point lead for Joe Biden in this final week nationally. How does that compare to the final week of the 2016 campaign? Remember, of course, Trump was behind late in that race and pulled it out. Probably worth noting, it was closer. His gap was just about 2 points, a little under 2 points at this point in 2016. Trump's gap now 7.1. So, again, there is still time here. We've had that talk that, hey, maybe Trump doesn't need to he could afford potentially, I should say, Trump could afford to lose the popular vote perhaps by a wider margin than he did in 2016 and still get the Electoral College. So he doesn't necessarily have to cut it as far as he did in 2016, but he does need to cut it some in the closing days of this race. And if you just look at the Electoral College here, this is where things finished in 2016. Trump's vulnerabilities right now, we know Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, even Texas right now, and Iowa. These are all states he won in 2016 where to some degree he's vulnerable right now. He doesn't need to win every single one of these states, but he needs to win the vast majority of these states to hold on to that Electoral College victory. Could he flip any blue states? Could he flip any states that Clinton won in 2016? One that maybe you keep an eye on in the next week would be Nevada. That could be a bit of a wild card, 6 electoral votes there. So Trump perhaps, in an ideal world for him, could pluck that from the Democratic column. But otherwise, he's playing defense in a lot of states, and he needs just about all of them, not all, but just about all, to break his way in this final week.
Okay, so what we need to know, I think, for us to be able to sleep at night is how likely. We have a viewer question who did ask this. They asked knowing how many people have voted early and mail-in ballots, what's the likelihood, this viewer is asking, that we will have an outcome on the 3rd? How many days or weeks will it likely take to declare a winner? That's from one of our great viewers.
Yeah, it's an interesting question on the timing of all this. Here you see some of the early poll closing times on election night. Draw your attention to a couple states here. Florida, for instance. Florida is critical to any Trump 270 scenario out there. 7 p.m. Eastern, most of Florida is going to close. You see the star there, the Panhandle, which is a low population. The vast majority of the state is going to close at 7 p.m. Eastern, and Florida tends to report out its vote very quickly. It's a state, I like to say, that was doing COVID-style elections before there was a COVID, meaning mail, early voting, getting it reported out quickly. They have a pretty good track record of doing that. We could be getting an answer from Florida the night of the election. If Joe Biden is winning Florida, Donald Trump's 270 scenarios are very tough to envision. If Trump wins Florida, he's certainly very much alive in the race. But other states we could be getting that kind of a readout from. 7:30, North Carolina, 7:30, Ohio, also Georgia. We could be getting a lot from Georgia on election night. These are all states where if we get the vote in, or we get the vast majority of the vote election night and know what's happening in these states, they could be offering very, very big clues about what's happening nationally.
All right, Steve Kornacki, who is not allowed to leave that board. We'll roll a cot out for you if you need snacks or food. We got you, but you can't leave.
I'll take you up on that.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.